China, artificial intelligence, what are some of the things they are doing there. But before that, I need to do a couple of things from the previous sessions just to uh, maybe finalize some of the thoughts which I had. Uh, I hope you are looking at the website, but because of time strain, maybe you are not looking at everything now. So I wanted to look at a couple of things. For example, and all the things are posted on the website. I just wanted to speak about a couple of things. So, for example, here, like this is a course outline of an artificial intelligence course in some other university. So, look at this. Like, for example, AI and big data. Yeah. So here are some reading. So this use this as reading list. If you want to read a little bit on any topic, you can use it. I found it very useful, so that is why I posted it on the website. Yeah. Ethics of AI. So they have made some postings here. AI and fundamental social sciences, for example, artificial intelligence and psychology, artificial intelligence and politics, artificial intelligence and education. Yes. So based on your interest, whatever area you would be interested in, I think these readings can be quite quite useful, and you can take time and go through that. AI and economics, AI and business. We looked at some business examples in the last 3 days, and we will continue looking at them today also. But these are some articles and coming from good publications, very nice. Academy of Management Journal, Harvard Business Review, and so on. MIT Sloan Management Review. So it's a very good collection. So I just wanted MIS Quarterly. So I just wanted to point out this, um, uh, that you should read these type of articles. Not everything, of course, as we were talking yesterday. Um, Based on your interest, what interests you, then it will be easier for you also, especially in the beginning. And then as you develop your taste, you can see what. This is again, this is bibliography, and very interesting articles are there. So over a period of time, please ensure that you look into these, and this will also expose you to what are some of the things which are published in journals. And then as you are reading these articles, you will find some journals which you like more, which are more close to your heart. You like the way they write or the selection of topics and so on. So then you can tag them and then continue reading one or two journals or one or two websites of your choice which you like. Yes. um, these are some very interesting books. Again, there are smart ways to read books. For example, you see a book, you it is best if someone can read the book from page 1 to last. Nothing beats that, but you guys are busy and you have other things to do also. So there are smart ways to look at book reading. For example, many times these books, you can search for their book summaries. People have read the book and they write the summary of the book, so you can read that. Again, on YouTube, many times you can search for summary of some book and someone has read it and they give you a summary of that what is the takeaway from the book. So those type of techniques, I think you can use, or at least read how the book has concluded, what are the concluding chapters. Maybe you can scan through them and so on. But anyways, these are interesting books. T minus AI is a big guy in the field, so very interesting book. Alignment Problem, Machine Learning, Human Values. Yes, very interesting. Rise of the Robots, Technology and the Threat of a Jobless Future. It's going to answer a lot of questions which I assume from the points you were making and your reflection, that yes, there is a little bit of anxiety also, that what is going on. But again, nothing to really fear about. Take out the take out the fear. Actually, fear, when do we become fear? Think about it. Fear is sometimes many reasons, but sometimes when we are maybe not prepared. So we are not prepared for something, and we are fearful. What happens? Well, sometimes we prepare for things also, and then there is a little fear also. But in psychology, they call it a good fear. That is a little bit of a anxiety. Like, you are prepared for the presentation, everything is fine, but before presentation there is a little bit of anxiety sometimes. But after preparation, if it is so, anxiety, they say that should be before you start the task. So it's a presentation, it is a game, it is exam. The anxiety just before that activity, that is good anxiety, because that is giving you that rush in your bloodstream, and your mind is now getting focused. But once you start the task, then you should not be there should not be anxiety. If you start the task and you have anxiety, then many times it is maybe you are not prepared well enough many times. But different people are different. I'm just like, before starting my presentation with you guys, if I have a little bit of anxiety, according to the things which people write, psychologists, they say that is good anxiety, that you are, maybe you are excited, maybe you are thinking too much. Different things are there, so there is an anxiety. But once you start, like now I have started, if I have anxiety now, or I am not comfortable, then it is not nice. So maybe to minimize that, they say prepare. So same thing maybe can be applied to this, like, all the fears, all the, will I have the job or not, how will I be successful, how the job market is. It is many times it is not being prepared for the thing, and we need to again, and um, um, taking the preparation part in our own hands. Yeah, that type of thing, that would be nice. So this type of reading, I think, can help with you guys. A guide for thinking humans. Yeah, again, very good. AI ethics. Yeah, see, so someone has written a very exciting book only on talking about ethical implications. Yes, uh, and it is by MIT Press. Yeah, AI advantage. There are so many books, but I liked this reading list, so I'm just highlighting this. But you can now decide what maybe none of this is exciting to you. That is fine. But the idea is that you find something, read one or two books on the topic in your leisure time. Um, if you don't want to read, if reading is a problem now, you can listen to record audiobooks. That I found it very useful. Please try it if you have not tried audiobooks. Like, I found that the book is running on the audio, and I'm listening to it, and I'm doing other things. My hands are free, my eyes are free, so I'm doing other things and listening to the audiobook. I found it very useful there. So try it once, at least once. Audiobooks, any audiobook of your choice, and see how it goes. So what I'm trying to say is, at least read, any basic, and you don't have to buy it. Run a Google search, free PDF, and just read from that, and see if what is for you. Follow some follow some thought leaders in artificial intelligence. That is again very important. Like these writers who are writing these books, run a quick search on them, which universities they are, what are the work they have done, and so on, and try to look into that. Okay, this interesting AI world on Twitter. You can follow these type of things. Promise and pearls of using AI for hiring. When we are hiring, and we mentioned this somewhere in our conversation, that AI is companies are using artificial intelligence in hiring, and bots taking interviews and looking at your face and analyzing if your smile is fake or what you are saying is true or you are making up things, and those type of things, analysis, facial analysis, movements, and so on, and so many other things. So advanced trustworthy AI and machine learning, yeah, advancing trustworthiness. Yesterday, some friends mentioned, for example, Niyat was mentioning that the trustworthiness is a problem. Like people don't trust these machines. They tend to trust more like people, things like them. Like we are humans, so we might trust more to human beings and stuff like that. So that these are the things which people are. So you can read these type of things. AI practices for building the AI development platform in government. Yeah, and we were speaking about briefly about AI policies, strategies, national strategies of AI, artificial intelligence, and other technology, not just AI. So those type of things. Um, Predictive maintenance proving out as successful AI use case. Predictive maintenance, predicting things. For example, if you recall from the slides from second day, I think, on from Tuesday, they were looking at how sports people are playing the game, and what are the mistakes they are making in terms of using their body. They are, you know, leaning on one side too much or running in a wrong way, and from there they were predicting that maybe they should change their style and style of running or whatever it is. Yes, so predictive maintenance in that sense, and you can read these type of article, what I'm trying to say. These type of website I think are very interesting to follow. Let me play up some short clip. And for example, this is BBC artificial intelligence blog. So look at this one.
I wept silently, taking in the scene. I wept because they had lost something that I took for granted. My sight, my eyes wide open. We looked up from our verses like blindfolded captives, sent out to seek the light, but it never came.
I don't know the word understanding, that's quite a challenging word. She's able to give a response, but she's not a conscious entity.
I'm the world's first ultra-realistic artist robot. I draw using cameras in my eyes and my robotic arm. I'm actually really happy that I'm able to share my work with people and that they're able to look at it and say, what is this?
Yeah, remarkable if you think about it. Now you might say that the look is kind of scary or whatever, you are not comfortable, but these things will improve. Aesthetics will improve, the hair, the skin, the face, the material they are using. But look at the things which it is writing poetry. Again, poetry is creative work, and we discussed that in our slides. And then painting, please run a Google search on just like we were discussing, artificial intelligence can create music, artificial intelligence can paint. So paintings made by AI, please run a Google search and see what comes up, and see how beautiful the paintings are. Uh, Amazing. So uh, in next, maybe now I'm just Like it's again, this time is to predict when it's is the challenge. Like if I say next 10 years and that does not happen, then you will say that, oh, he said 10 years and it's not happening in 10 years. So that time predicting time when this thing will be more common space, that is the challenge now. But these things are going to happen, and then country to country it is going to be different. In China it will be different. Just like Alexandra was telling us that when she was traveling, she went to hotels where she saw robots working or something like that one day. So, uh, so in that country where she went, this was more common space. And then I gave you example of Hong Kong. In Jamaica, those things are not there. Maybe in Romania, they are little bit there. Some friends were giving in their reflection, they were giving example of Latvia, Riga, that they were using some technologies there when she visited that place. So in country to country it would be it would be different. And then the countries which would have these type of technology, including artificial intelligence, of course their productivity, their everything will increase. Yeah, that type of thing. So quantum computing, these type of things, maybe you should look into that. This is interesting. Facebook to end use of facial recognition software. Maybe some ethical issues or whatever they are trying to do, you can look into these type of details and see. This is a good website to follow, BBC Artificial Intelligence. So you will keep on getting, some type of information on this, and you don't have to read all of them, of course. You read the ones which are more interesting to you. For example, this one, I'm talking about this because we did speak about, fruit, raspberries picked up by artificial intelligence, a lot of them. Uh, so fruit counting drone technology tested on orchid. Yeah, fruit counting. So when you are ready, you just send out the drone and it count how many pieces of fruit are going to come. And then even if human workers are there, at the end you can check if uh, no one steal it, or you get the exact around more or less same count at the end. For different reasons you can do that.
Yes, exactly.
Or
For example, you can test some fertilizer to see if it worked as expected, let's say. Okay, you can.
Karina, your voice is a little low, so come close to
Oh,
the
okay.
microphone. Yeah, come
Okay,
close to the microphone.
one moment.
Yes, please, no problem. Yes.
You
So
can hear
these
me?
type of, yes,
Okay. Yes, I
beautiful,
think it can be used also on to check the productivity of the plants. I mean, if you change the fertilizer or something,
beautiful.
you can make a comparison between one or another. Also, I've seen many videos with people struggling while collecting the fruits, and I
Mm.
tried one summer, and it's a nightmare. We cannot do that. So yes.
It looks easy, fruit picking job, but it's not that easy. And yeah, when you are in the uh, and this is good example which Karina is mentioning, productivity of plants, for example, because in the agriculture field they are trying to this is a very good example. Thanks, Karina, for this. They are trying to increase the productivity from trees, from plants, so they can get more and more fruits from their investment. Um, and if you like, they are doing changes with the genetics of the trees and so on. They are, if you are interested, you can read on those type of things, and then you link it with the profitability of the business that is going to
Exactly.
increase, as Karina is mentioning. And you can link it with other things. If you look at the world population, the population is increasing, and the food scarcity is a true thing. in some parts of the world. So um, these things are somehow linked if you think about it. And now this example is talking about fruit counting using drone, but then you can now see what else can be counted. What else can be counted? Yeah, what else can be counted? Like you have a big assembly line, you are producing something. If human beings are going to count that, you might want to send drones in the plant, and they are going to count what is happening. Monitoring worker who is working, who is not working. You might have drones in the air and they are watching workers on the floor. Yeah, and giving you live update. Yeah, something like that. Maybe counting the time if a worker goes to washroom or something like that, and the drone is now sees, okay, is he left at this time. When he comes back, he looks at this time, he's back, how much time spent there. Yeah, applications are huge. So uh, um, think about the applications, and in your environment see what is not happening, and then from there try to create some entrepreneurial activity. Yes. So I'm not going to go more into the website. I'm just you can you can just search it, artificial intelligence BBC, and then follow that. World Economic Forum, this is a great source for almost anything you can think about. So one of the topics is they are looking at artificial intelligence. Explore the latest strategy, trends, research, and analysis. Yeah. Can bias be eliminated from algorithm? That is interesting topic to think about. Bias, like the person who is putting in the algorithms, is their bias going to come or show in the algorithm? Although there are some mechanisms to take out the bias, but still, everyone is have their biases or a tilt towards one thing or another. So it's an interesting topic to look into. Dangers of unregulated AI. Robot workers are being hired at record rates in US company, and here is why. 1st December 2021. More and more robot workers are being hired in US company. So how that is going to make impact uh, um, on many things. Um, these are good things. Sometimes people get scared a little bit that okay, jobs will go, but jobs are not. Please remember this. Jobs are going, but more jobs are coming in. In next 5-6 years, there will be jobs which we don't even know right now what jobs will be out there. Do you realize that new jobs are coming in, new technologies are coming in? 5-6 years, new type of jobs. Just like if you go back 20 years ago and look at what are the things people are studying, they did not know. Even in our lifetime, you can think of like drones, like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, did we need drone operators? Now companies advertise for drone operators, and so on. Now you can think about it. So because new things will come and new, so right now if you realize this and start preparing that, okay, next 5-6 years, 3 years, 4 years, what skill set would be more relevant, and you start preparing it. So in next 3-4 years you would have certain skills, and you will be employed somewhere in a decent environment which you are seeking, whatever you are seeking. Yes.
Yes, of course. And if you want, for example, in Romanian, I suppose that with 30 years ago, we don't have computer scientists. And today we have a lot of in our country. And a lot of new job is coming.
Mm. Very good. Thanks for contributing that. So that is normal. That is not like, then many, like there used to be regular cars, and now electric cars. So if 4 or 5 years ago someone said, okay, I'm going to know about electric cars and I'm going to become a good mechanic in electric cars, and now 5 years they are prepared to work on electric cars, they have more better opportunities. The car design, car systems are changing. But then other people are arguing that it is a possibility that things will remain like this for next 30, 40 years. This is a possibility, and the reason for that is different countries have different, different the infrastructure which China has for AI, or Hong Kong has for artificial intelligence, or Estonia, we were talking about Estonia, what they have for us in Jamaica to have that. It is going to take years because we have other challenges. So it's a possibility next 20 years and not much advancement is there. Same goes for other some relatively less developed European countries. I don't want to name any country, but you know that. So different country tech divide and so on. Yeah. Well, this, for example, we are going to discuss China a little bit today. So can China and Europe find common grounds on AI ethics? Yes. What are some of the common grounds? Yeah. Yes. You can be someone who is finding common grounds for your country and a advanced and a country which is advanced in AI, for example, China. So you can be a bridge between two countries. So if you start reading on this, don't won't you become re- good, knowledgeable in next 5, 6, 7 years? Why not? Why you would not? It's a good time. I'm not saying 1 year. I'm saying 5, 6 years. So you start looking at even this topic, common grounds in artificial intelligence ethics in your country, Romania or whatever, Germany or whatever country you are, and China. And you are studying on this and you are writing little pieces on this for 5, 6, 7 years. You are someone who can talk on this topic because you might have written some things and you have read a lot on the topic, so what you will say will make sense, and that is how you can create a job for yourself. Yeah, it is worth trying. I think is if you are interested in this, and I assume you are interested, that is why you decided to say, okay, let's take this, let's join this conversation, let's for the week join this. So this you should think about, and not AI ethics, whatever you are interested in. Yeah. The race to the top among the world leaders in artificial intelligence. And this is this is Nature Index. Very interesting article. I would spend a lot of time on that, but I'm just showing you this, and then you can in your own time you can look for the articles which you like. And again, all of them are on the website. So look at this. This is what the race to the top among the world leaders in AI. Yeah. AI revenues and research output soared in the field of AI. Global competition between the United States, China, and Europe heats up. 9th December, a year ago almost, they have written this. But the things have. So look at this. This is the output of articles, proceedings, and total. Articles in blue, proceedings in orange, I think, and this dot circle is the total output. Number of publications from 2015 to 2019 in 4 years. What are number of publications? Yes. Look at this. You might not be even heard about these universities, or you're not 100% aware of these universities, but these universities are coming from China. And see, these are the articles, number of articles written, number of proceedings, and total is this. This is where this university is. This is where this university is. Again, China, again, China, again, China, 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 China. And look at this. Stanford University. I'm sure you have heard the name. Famous university. Top 10 university in the world overall. Yeah. So this is where they are. Total. On the number of publications on artificial intelligence related things and stuff. Yeah. MIT. They are familiar with that. This is where they are total. So see, this is the difference. Yeah. And you can now read the details. Steep competition. For example, look at this. This is China. This is China. This is China. Blue. Number of publications. China is here. Yeah. The blue one. On the right side, look at the right graph. Right side graph. Yeah. This is US. And look at this. This is United Kingdom, Germany, and India combined. They are here. So they are around 20,000 each. If you combine India, Germany, and UK, yeah, around 20,000. 20,000 times 3 would be 60,000. So they will fall together collectively. They will fall somewhere here. And China is like 100,000 here. That is why I made this comment, which is kind of a little controversial also, that Europe combined is lower number of publication than China alone. Yeah. So if you now look into the papers and see what is happening, that is quite astonishing. Yeah. Quite astonishing, because see which countries are in Europe. Quite strong countries are there. Quite a strong countries and advanced countries are there. Yeah. So think about that. And why is that again? Data policies, government regulations, how you are collecting data, ethical issues. These things are, they found the foundation of all these things. Government policies. Yeah. Okay, we were discussing Europe yesterday, so I want to show you this clip to conclude that talk of yesterday. So here they are saying, how can the EU scale up artificial intelligence? It's a short clip, 2 minutes, but it gives very interesting insight. So please listen carefully.
AI is a set of technologies, but behind AI, there is a set of elements that needs to happen. We need an infrastructure, we need a platform, and we need data. We have so many countries starting to say, I want to do AI. The French government came with an AI strategy. Last week was the German strategy. A few months back, it was finished. So the point is that by fragmenting all of that, we are likely not to be right. So there is a coordination model that needs to happen to make it work. If you look at all these three, Europe has a bit of everything, but has no necessarily coordinated vision as to what. Infrastructure requires obviously 5G, edge computer, and supercomputer. And supercomputers and quantum computing. Europe is leading in terms of R&D today, but does not have the scale to basically do it at the level of AI. Without supercomputing, by the way, you don't have cybersecurity, so Europe will do that. On the data, there is the question of GDPR, but GDPR is all about your personal data. But there's a ton of data that are yours, but not personal, and there are a lot of data that will come from IoT, and there is no framework attached to that. So there is a bit of this coordination element of making sure that the infrastructure, platform, and data is becoming much more scalable in Europe in such a way that they can start having applications that can thrive and basically create new markets and new opportunities in Europe.
Yes, very short but precise to the point. Very interesting. He's saying that we need infrastructure, we need platforms, and we need data. Yes. So if one thing is missing, then it's not going to work. And he referred to strategies, AI strategies of French, Germans, Finnish, and then he's saying that it might be good standalone for their country, but coordinated effort is not there. Coordination, he's saying it's fragmented. So coordinate, just like Europeans, you can go from one country to another just without visa because you are part of the EU. So you can just go. So what are the benefits of that? So many benefits, so many scholarships you can get in terms of work. You can go from one country to another and so on. Not 100% perfect, but a lot of benefits are there because of that integration. So what is that? That is happening. Those scholarships or opportunities go from one university to another and so on. That is happening because it's coordinated. It's not fragmented. It's coordination. So same type of approach uh, in terms of these technologies that that need to be maybe taken, and maybe you can start that. People are already working on it in Europe, and you can look them up and then see how you can contribute. What are your thoughts, and what are, in terms of your country, how you can do something. And don't think anything is small. Don't think that. Don't think. If you are thinking how it's a big thing, how I will contribute to this, don't think that. Make your contribution. Whatever. Like if I start thinking, oh, it's only seven friends in the session. What is seven friends? Never mind. It's not fun or whatever. It's not. Even if it is one person, that's okay. So and big things start small. Big things start small. Yeah. So don't worry if it is a small thing. The worry is that the only problem is when we don't start. That is what the problem is, that we don't start. So start. Yeah, just start. Don't worry about the scale, that it is a small thing. It will grow. New people will come. Like-minded people will join. You just start you give your thing. Another very interesting point which he mentioned, I should have mentioned it yesterday somewhere because we were talking about data. So he's saying that there is the data is some, there are different segments of data. One data is yours, but it is not personal data. Yeah, the data is yours, but it is not personal data because it is in public domain. So for example, you post a picture on Instagram. You post your picture on Instagram, and there it is. It is your picture. It is your Instagram account and everything. And you have made it public, so your page is public, not just for your followers or friends. It's public. So the picture is yours, but is it your personal data? That is now debatable. It is in public domain. You post a picture on Facebook, you make some comment or something like that, and it is in public domain. So is it yours or is it not yours? uh,
We need to read the policies. I think we do not lose the publisher rights. I think I cannot remember how they are called. The editor rights or something like this. When you as a person create something, you have the rights on it. If you post it, I think only if you have some let's say partners, you may have half of the rights. I'm not really sure. So probably on Facebook we do have the rights on the photography. If someone uses it in some kind of video or something, we might get money from the video.
But if it doesn't have a watermark, can you do anything legal against it? Because without the watermark, then you're
Yes.
not its owner.
No,
I mean, this
yes,
is what I understand. I'm not really sure, but this is how I'm understanding all this situation.
the
It's quite
watermark is to protect on copy and paste, okay, and probably you'll never see the video or something like this. I'm not really sure.
it's quite complex. Think about it. You are outside and someone is taking my picture, let's say, and we are in Romania or wherever you are. I'm standing there and someone is taking my picture and you are in the background. He's not taking your picture. He's taking my picture. You are in the background. He takes the picture. You are in the picture. Who owns the picture?
Yeah, but I think in this way there is a regulation, as far as I'm aware. If the camera is not pointed at you, like on purpose, then it's fine. But then if the cameraman is pointing the camera towards you on purpose, that he wants to take a picture of you, then that's not legal, nor to take it or to post it anywhere else.
Yes, so this what Alexandra is saying, this is not same for every country. In your
Yeah,
country,
that's
yeah. So this is the problem. So in one country it would be different regulation, different thing. In another country it would be different. In some country, if the person behind me, if he can come to me or come to the person who took the picture and ask them to delete. In another country, if he does the same, the person who has the camera, he might beat him if he says that. He said, what is your problem? It is my picture. Go on. So it is different. Different countries have different. So cultural practices are going to come into
Yeah,
this.
that's
So
true. And about this, an interesting fact is, for example, in Korea and in Japan, if you're buying an iPhone, you cannot put the iPhone on silent when you take pictures. And that's the reason behind it. So you cannot take pictures of other people without them knowing it. So if you ever planning to buy an iPhone secondhand from maybe just make sure it's not from Japan or Korea. Yeah.
yeah, so these are quite complex things to uh, think about. Anyways, I think we made the point. Okay, so we have been speaking about hiring in the slides also, and today also couple of articles which I was showing you, they were talking about it. So I'm going to quickly take you through something. Not going to show you all of the clip. You can see it in your own time, but just a little portion I'm going to show you. That how companies are using artificial intelligence in the hiring process already. Yeah. So we will skip to 7 minutes and see what can we learn together.
So applicants could be eliminated for facial expressions that have nothing to do with the job.
HireVue sees the challenge differently. The company says that only the data points that are relevant in predicting what matters are really considered, and that their model attempts to capture all different facial expressions that have been seen in top performers. What about an AI review of the way we express ourselves on social media? Could that be a window into our compatibility for a job?
And with DeepSense, essentially what we build this meta profile, a behavioral profile of every individual.
Amarpreet Kalkat's company is spearheading another trend in hiring, a move away from judging people based on their resumes and skills towards decisions based on people's personalities. His company, DeepSense, uses applicants' Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social media accounts to do more than just check for questionable behavior. DeepSense says that it runs scientifically based tests to surface people's underlying personality traits.
I'm just a little skeptical that from a Twitter feed, you can determine my personality or anyone's.
It's not perfect, but now let's remember, everything is relative.
And you don't need to tell people.
This is public data.
Is it legal?
Well, that is all public information, so yes, it is perfectly legal.
Is it ethical?
So that's the second question. When you're posting on Twitter, you're certainly not imagining that that information is being collected to be used against you.
So what's DeepSense's sense of who I am?
So Jason Bellini is a person who can be a little anxious sometimes.
Yeah.
He likes to face challenges up front, that's true.
To test DeepSense's tool, I actually did one of the personality tests. It's the one that DeepSense used in its own benchmark testing. My results on DeepSense were similar in 2 of the 4 categories, but in 2 others, the discrepancy is pretty wide.
I just wonder how companies are going to be confident that it's a real reflection of that person's personality.
So I know that most of the times it's telling me the right thing.
Calcat says 2 Fortune 500 companies are already using DeepSense.
Can you tell me which companies they are?
I can't share the companies. I can tell you one of them is a consulting, one of the big 5 consulting ones.
Okay. They don't want people to know that they're using your service?
It's still experimental for a lot of people.
Not a lot of transparency at the dawn of AI assessing job candidates. We, the public, can't see what's in the black box, nor in most cases do we know when it's analyzing us.
And it's important actually that we really stop to ask, is this working for society?
Yeah, very interesting if you think about it. Public data, it's whatever you post online, be careful about that because companies can use it to analyze your personality and so on. Uh, and the lawyer was sitting there and they asked her, is it legal or not? She said, well, legally they can do it because you post something online, they can use it without telling you. How will you know someone is using your pictures or whatever to analyze your personality? Especially in the context when in this video they said that 2 of the Fortune 500 companies are using these type of things and they did not say the name, and the companies which are using it are not going to tell anyone. Why would they want to tell? You can just use it and that is it. And especially if you look now, you can say it is ethical or not ethical or whatever, but businesses, at the end of the day, businesses want to attract the best people for the job, right? So if Google advertised for a position and they are seeking talent globally, they are seeking talent. So how they advertise a job, how many people are going to apply for that job? They are searching for the skill set in the world, globally speaking. Hundreds of thousand people might apply for the job. They want to work for that big company, any big company. Yeah. So when we will be submitting our CVs, resumes to these companies, it is not possible that they go through the CVs and resumes one by one and one. It's not possible. It's just not possible. So they are going to use some technique like this. Yes. And then they're going to shortlist and then all the process based on that. So in that they are going to use different techniques, for that. Uh, because what they are doing now is that they are using artificial intelligence to look at what type of person I am. For example, what type of person am I fit for the job or not? What are the things I post on Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever? Yeah. So they are using AI. But when they use AI, some of us might think that it is not ethical or they did not take permission. Not you guys maybe, but some people can think that. But take out AI. If you take out AI, like you want to hire me, I'm the candidate, and there is a job and you are the HR, would not you Google me? Tashfeen, Ahmed, Jamaica, who is this? what is happening, what he does, what he just does, and you would Google me and see without using artificial intelligence. So that we do that. We look up, look, search people's name and see what are they up to and so on. I don't know about you, but I do. If you don't, that is okay. But I know people around me, they do it all the time. Search people. What are they up to? What is happening? Search different universities, read about them and stuff. So, but once we put in artificial intelligence and we say data, then there's a little bit of anxiety that maybe we should not use it and so on. And for rightful reason, I'm not saying we should use it or we should not use it. I'm just saying these things are happening. So the only way outside of legal and not legal is that just be mindful what we are posting, because that is in our hands, what information we are putting out. We can only do that much, because once we put information out, then it is out. And legal actions or anything like that, that is a hassle. That is a big hassle. So, and but the last thing which she said was very interesting, that is this the type of society we want to be in? So at the end of the day, this is a more of a societal issue, that what would be the impact of all of these things collectively over a period of time on human well-being and so on. Yeah. And you can now look up that company. The company's Deep Sense, hiring using AI. You can read a little bit about them and see what is happening. These are some things from other countries. Smile with your eyes: how to beat South Korea's AI hiring bots and land a job. People are just like we prepare for job interviews. Yeah, you have a job interview, you prepare for it. You say, think about it, what type of questions they are going to ask and so on. Yeah, and prepare answers, good answers. Then speak your friends, family, your mentors, that okay, this is the answer. If they ask me who am I, explain yourself, who are you, this is how I'm going to say, is it okay, is it not okay, all of those things. So when bots are going to do the hiring, then you might want to prepare how to smile with your eyes and stuff like that. So it is just the preparation is going to be a little bit different. But then again, I'm talking about very big companies who get a lot of candidates, even in smaller companies. If you have a if you are running a company, think as a owner. You are the owner and you have a company and you advertise for a job, and let's say 1,000 people have sent resumes. Now if you are going to look each resume one by one, just tell me how much. You don't have to tell me, just think how much time it is going to take you to look at 1,000 CVs. On the other hand, you have a software. Forget about AI. You have a software, you put in it, it looks for keywords, picks it up. And this has been happening. Even without AI, this thing has been happening. It's just that maybe we don't know because companies don't tell it. But think about it, that if you are applying for a big company, how many people have? Are they really going to look one by one, each CV, one by one? If they are going to look at it, maybe some company will say, okay, we will look at it. How many people they will need? How much money they will have to pay just to look into CVs? Yeah. And then human error. Human beings sometimes, when they are looking at a CV, they are a little bit tired or whatever, and they skip something important and so on. With technology, at least if you have put in that look for these keywords, it is going to look for those keywords. The rate of error goes a little bit less. I'm not saying it is 100%, but it's a little bit less. But again, all these things are controversial. You have to think in your own context and see what fits and what does not fit. Yeah, whether you realize it or not, you might not even even know what really happened. Okay, this one is very interesting. You are talking about robots and the capabilities of robots, robotic arms, and so on. And from that, I wanted to show you this, please.
They're called Roombots, and they're made by the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology Lausanne, or EPFL for short. These autonomous, rollable, stackable robotic orbs can lock onto each other to form a variety of shapes and perform a variety of functions. They're still in the proof of concept stage of development, but the possibilities are literally limitless. A recent video released by the EPFL shows the robots autonomously assembling into a chair, with an occasional human assist to nudge them into position or change batteries. Think about the potential here, especially for folks with limited living space. Someday, instead of awkwardly pulling a chair out of storage when you've got company, you could just call on your Roombots to make an extra chair for you right there on the spot. They could probably make moving a whole lot easier too. The Roombots also can light up in case you need help finding them in the dark, or you just want some modular furniture that can turn up. Another potential use of these Roombots is that they can help modify and enhance existing furniture. For example, you could enable a table to pick a pen off the floor and keep itself level over slopes and stairs. When it comes to chairs, Roombots can push one around by rolling on the ground to follow you or stay out of your hair. For some of these experiments, the Roombots worked in conjunction with a Microsoft Kinect camera, enabling the robots to move in reaction to the movements of a person. These Roombots aren't the only modular robots currently in development. MIT's mBlocks 2.0 connect to each other using magnets and use a barcode type system to identify one another. Inside the blocks is a flywheel capable of 20,000 rotations per minute. When a brake is applied to the flywheel, it creates the momentum that moves the blocks. While these modular robots don't yet appear to be as dexterous as some other robots which were designed to perform specific tasks, the appeal of modular robots is that they could be deployed in cases where the exact type of robotic assistance required is hard to predict. For example, the MIT engineers behind the mBlocks envision them potentially being used to aid in disaster response, perhaps being put to work rebuilding a part of a staircase that was damaged so rescue workers could have easier access. Similarly, the EPFL envisions the Roombots might be a space saver in small apartments, or a way to enhance furniture to assist people with limited mobility. In addition to their potential earthly uses, modular robots could also play an important role in building a future for humans in space. In a NASA contest aimed at designing a home for astronauts on Mars, architecture firm Hassel envisioned modular robots arriving long before the first astronauts to get a head start on building a base camp. Of course, modular robots with these types of capabilities are years if not decades away, but these early prototypes certainly prove that, like the humans that created them, these modular robots can accomplish a whole lot more when they work together. What would you do with your very own swarm of modular robots? Let us know down below. For more mBlocks 2.0.
Yeah, very interesting. Think about the application in business environment, daily activities, business environment, how businesses run in the warehouse, in the production plant, moving things from one place to another. Things are in a pallet, you put the products in a pallet, and how that pallet can go to the truck or the transport on which it will go out it on its own. So you are minimizing the cost of the workers who take the finished goods and put them in the truck to go out of the plant. Something like that, yeah. What applications are huge. They are talking about usage in the house. Even they gave example of NASA. Think about the, and then you incorporate different things. For example, IoT, Internet of Things, internet connectivity, where information taken from different devices and that goes into this bot. Uh, A lot of applications, a lot of applications. Yes. This I wanted to show you. Again, it is a long clip, but I don't want to show you all of it. Just wanted to, again, it's a old clip, 2015, 6 years old, but I want to show you this part. Just look at this. So the guy is doing various functions by hand movements sitting in the car. It's BMW 7 Series. Yes. They're just sitting in the car and moving their hands and taking the call, changing the music, going to the next song, going to the last song, anything, turning up the volume, turning down the volume, turning on the AC, turning off the AC. Like instead of pushing the buttons, he is using his hand gestures to do like the circular motion, what different type of things. Stop, next, yeah. So it is doing that. This is amazing, and this is not even the latest model. It is like 6 years old. And then they are talking about other features also. But I just wanted to just bring your attention to this concept of doing things by hand movements, gestures, and run a Google search on that. They are now doing things by eye movement, the movement of eye, and doing various activities from eye movement. They are doing those things. And then from the slides, please recall that we spoke about how your thoughts, uh, how the thoughts of a disabled person were moving the hand. If you remember, we saw that in the PowerPoint, and I showed you a clip also, just a little brief part. Yeah. So from hand gestures in 2015, yeah, 2015 BMW 7 Series, 2015, and then eye movement, doing things, dialing a number, different things by moving eyes, eye movement, and then thoughts. From the thoughts, like from the thought, you think about playing next song, and the next song plays. Yeah. You think about turning off the AC, and it 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 turns off. And if you will read, people are working on it. It might be a little bit of a surprise if you never thought about these things, but if you will read the papers and see what advancements they are doing, and then think about the application of this, like for disabled person, for example, how it can become easy. But then I'm just remembering in one of the reflections, one friend wrote one day that all of these things are going to make us very lazy. Yeah. So that is interesting comment there. Yes, it is. Yeah, like if you are living your life like that, it is the laziness can be there. But then everything has its up and down, and so on. Okay. We spoke about relationships and artificial intelligence and so on. I want to show you something very quickly. Again, the clips are long. I'm just playing some portion. The applications of not just in terms of relationships, romantic relationships, but other type of applications in daily life or in terms of business and so on. And if you are like, of course, this can be this now. There can be some psychological implications of that, how the mind will react to that. uh, and many people would not think it is normal. And she asked him the question that, don't you think it is weird? And listen to his response, that he's saying, yes, maybe now it is weird, but in next 20 years, he's saying, will it be remain weird or not? Maybe not. And think about it, like 20 years ago, 20, think about this, 20 years ago, if um, and here is another example. I'm not going to play it. I can, but you can watch it in your own time. This is the guy, uh, and this is his doll, and he also brought his wife on the show, whom he's married with. So wife is okay that he has a doll and everything. So you can listen to what are the things he is saying and so on. But what I was trying to say is that it might be weird now and all of that, but think about it, like 20 years ago, if you are in the you are out walking in the plaza or somewhere, you are out and you see someone talking and walking, and there is no one around them, and the person is walking and the person is talking, what would you feel? What is the person doing? He's walking and he's talking. Only people who have mental problem or mental sickness, they would walk and talk. But now we go out and people are walking and they are talking. Yeah, they are talking. They are wired. They are talking with someone on the phone or something. So we now know that okay, they have the phone or something and they are talking. So this is the normal feature now, that you are walking and you are talking. Yeah. Or other things like that, taking your own picture. It is a normal thing. We all do that. I do that. Most of you, I'm sure you do that. Selfie. You take a picture. In the last 10 years, 15 years, in the recent time, this concept of taking picture came. Before that, if you look at the history of pictures, it was always with other people. Only for passport and for like official documents, you will go to a shop and they will take your picture, and that picture you are using for your official documentation or whatever. But outside of that, it's with people. The concept of picture was generally, not always, but generally speaking, the concept was that okay, everyone is together. So we are capturing a moment that we are together here. But now people are capturing it all the time, taking their own pictures and so on. And that is why these selfie sticks and so on, these things are normal. Selfie stick, yeah, you take your own picture, selfie stick. But if you read the history of selfie sticks, when they were made, you will be surprised that they were not made in last 5, 10, 20 years. They are invented long time ago. Run a Google search on selfie sticks. Selfie stick. When was it? When was it made? Look at
I
this.
think it was in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
Sorry?
correct? 5. I said 60s, but it's way earlier.
Yes, 60s. Okay, Alexandra is saying 60s, but look at this. Homemade selfie stick could date back as early as 1925. 1925, like 100 years ago, someone made selfie stick and they say, okay, you can take picture. But that idea did not really work because of the same thing. Like, what is this? What is this? Why you would want to take your own pictures? What is that? The people would think something is wrong with the mind. But now it's common space. Yes. And there are so many things. This also tells us that the timing is important factor in innovations and these type of things. Um, Timing. What is the time? When is the thing being introduced? The timing of the thing. Time should be right. People should be ready for it. If people are not ready, then the product will not work. So there is a lot of AI, but if your country is not ready, society is not ready, people are not accepting that technology at that time, then it is not going to work. uh, Alexandra, I think, gave example of people using credit cards and debit cards versus people who would prefer to use cash and they are not comfortable in using they are not comfortable being cashless, using they're not comfortable in online transactions, something around that she mentioned yesterday or the day before yesterday. And then I also gave some examples on that. Yeah, so what is, and Estonia, we were watching Estonia. Why Estonia? Estonians are, doing, they are so much artificial intelligence. Why? Because they said in the clip that Estonians are okay if their data is made public. They are okay with that. Yeah, they are okay. They don't mind their personal information, their, all those things. But they are just saying that the government policies that when someone will look up like their data, they will be also notified through the app that, okay, someone is looking your data. So they will know that who is looking, but they are okay for it to be open. And then the technologies come in. So people are still, the people are still there. They need to making people ready. And then again, you guys were mentioning a couple of things like, awareness, creating awareness in other people. Yesterday, I think 2-3 friends, they mentioned these things. And in your reflections also, you mentioned these type of things. So making the society ready is you can work on that, making people ready for the change, because the technologies are there. They are there. A lot of technologies are there, but we don't use them. We are not, because we are not ready. We are not accepting that change now. So selfie stick is an interesting example which just came up as we are talking about this. Okay. Let's talk about China, and I'm going to show you a couple of clips now, and then we will try to see what is what.
Indonesia is busy transforming. With the new job creation law, Indonesia is progressively ensuring the policy reform to create quality jobs through investment. Let's be part of Indonesia's growth and progress. Invest in Indonesia now.
For decades, facial recognition has been the stuff of science fiction. Well, for many here in China, it's already becoming a part of daily life. Thanks to huge advances in artificial intelligence, people here can use their faces to log into mobile apps, access office buildings, and take money out of ATMs. At this KFC in Beijing, you can even use your face to get meal recommendations. Not all of the applications are so mundane. Police are also using the technology to shame jaywalkers and to scan crowds for persons of interest. A massive centralized database makes it possible for authorities and some private companies to identify nearly anyone by capturing their face. Access to these photos is a boon to companies like search giant Baidu, which is using them to build a range of products.
There is a data set maintained by government. Basically, that means that for almost everyone who has the ID, for everyone over 18 years old, the government will have your face in the database.
Some worry this technology could lead to serious invasions of privacy and make it easier for authorities to track political dissidents. But others see it as a powerful tool for public safety.
Not only helps to track criminals, it also helps find missing people. So it's good for the society.
Facial recognition algorithms are growing exponentially faster and more powerful, thanks to a new technology called deep learning that allows computers to mimic the human brain's ability to learn. That means they can now compensate for problems like low light and bad angles. They can also adjust for age, making it possible to identify adults from their childhood pictures. So how does it work? Using complex algorithms, facial recognition systems start out by identifying all of the faces in a given image. For each face, the algorithm measures out key data points, like the distance between the eyes or the color of the skin. They then use those measurements to create a template that can be compared against other templates in a facial database. The more data they have, the better these systems do. Hundreds of millions of social media users here upload photos every day under terms of service that basically allow tech companies to do what they want with the images. Add a vast network of surveillance cameras, and China has lots of data to feed its algorithms. There are 170 million surveillance cameras installed in China, including more than a dozen on this stretch of road behind Beijing's Forbidden City. Analysts say China plans to install 450 million new surveillance cameras by the year 2020. The massive market represented by those cameras has attracted interest from established companies and startups alike. At one facial recognition startup, SenseTime, employees' faces are scanned at the door. Inside, the company displays a system that serves up advertisements based on a person's age and gender. At a Nikon, I do like photography. Not unlike the ads in a certain Tom Cruise movie.
You could use a Guinness right about now.
The company also sells more serious tools, capable of tracking both people and objects.
This is a live feed recorded by this camera. It recognizes different attributes of people, a car, or bicycles. This is actually very useful for the police department to extract information from the videos. Basically, it makes the video searchable.
Besides having access to reams of data, companies like SenseTime also benefit from China's relatively casual attitude towards privacy. In a country accustomed to government snooping, many are willing to have their faces scanned for the sake of convenience. A bigger concern is that the systems can be tricked or hacked using fake faces. Critics note that a hacked password can be changed, but everyone has just one face.
If the rectangle is green, that means it is a live people. And if the rectangle is red, it is a attack or hack, actually. When our systems first go online, we do suffer from a huge volume of a huge amount of hack. But by collecting sufficient hack data, I think the machine can tell whether it is a hack behavior or it is a true person.
Facial recognition is just one of several branches of artificial intelligence technologies that have already started to redefine what's possible in China and elsewhere. And of course, just like any technology, it's susceptible to abuse.
You have a very advanced tool, so you could use it to do good things and you could use it to do bad things, but the key is the way you choose.
Very interesting short clip, and it summarizes quite a few things which China is doing. But as you are reflecting on this, you might think this is right or this is wrong, what is ethical, what is not ethical, and so on. But as you are reflecting on that in your own space, in your own head, please recall yesterday we made the point I showed you when I was talking about government policy about AI, and I showed you China. What was their target? What was their goal? Try to recall. Their goal was to become world leader by 2030. So they have like 10 years to become world leader in artificial intelligence. That is what their goal is. So, and that is what they are doing. To achieve that goal, they would, as you saw in the EU clip, they spoke about, I think, 3 things: infrastructure and one more thing, and data. Yeah. So, and the people, look at the Chinese, they are okay with that type of governance model where their pictures are taken. You saw in the clip all the pictures posted online. Government can look at that. They can be used in different search engines. They mentioned Baidu. A number of cameras installed, like it is like 500 million or something by now. That's a lot. And the data is maintained by government. That is also something to reflect on. All the data, once you pass the age of 18, they start taking out the data. There can be some negatives of that, like freedom and those type of things, which people coming from Europe, they can think like that. Same goes for Jamaica also. We also have, it's same like it's a democracy in Jamaica also, where the these type of things don't happen, but there are definitely a lot of advantages, which, and you saw the number of publications and the output, research output, and all of that I showed you on the graph. You can look for the recent numbers. Those numbers were from 2019, but they are not changed much in 2021, and there is no likelihood of for them to change in the next 2-3 years. Anything can happen. No one knows the future, but it seems that China will continue to dominate in that area. You saw it's not just people who it was not facial recognition. If you were watching carefully, it was essentially object recognition. So face is object, and then the objects, other objects on the road. Like if you lose your bicycle, the data is collected whenever that bicycle is going to come in the eyesight of cameras, which are a lot of cameras. It is going to identify. So security and those type of things, you can now think about that also. Couple of links are there on the top of this site. China, the first AI superpower. So of course we know that America is the superpower, most powerful country in the world. But in terms of AI, people are writing that China has a little bit of a dominance over other countries. Will China lead the world in AI by 2030? Will it be possible or not? See, these are the faces and these are the numbers allocated as data captured, and they are capturing all these things. But will it lead by 2030 or not? You can scan through this article, and again 2030 is because their objective is to have become world leader, dominant leader by 2030. They still are leading in many ways, but US is also quite ahead in certain areas. So that is why they are saying that the dominant leader by 2030. But again, we don't know if it will be, we have 10 years, anything can happen. And it is dependent on policies. If Europe change its policies and say, all right, we're going to collect data, people have no problem. All right, come, more data. And then put it in and make it safe and make algorithms based on that. It is going to make many people's life comfortable also. But then it is just that same issue which Alexandra and Karina were pointing out a while ago, that, picture, if whose picture it is it mine, is it yours, is it legal, is it not, all that type of thing based on which country you are coming from, that debate. If we can pass that debate and people are okay, people say, okay, you can use my data, no problem. And then, so the trust issue is there, like the people trust their government or not. People trust the government, their government, that they can have their data or not. So it is again trustworthy issue, trustworthiness on the trust factor. Yeah. So things are pretty much linked if you think about, and there are many papers written on these type of things. Whoever leads in artificial intelligence will rule the world until 2100. Yeah, because they will have more data, their policies, they would have more. And by data, what we mean, they will know more about people. That is what it means. They will know more. If I have more data on you guys, I know more about you. So then I can say the things which are interesting to you. I can make the course pitch in a way which will be more interesting for you. Right now, I don't know which degrees you are doing. If I knew that, okay, Karina is doing this, Iona is doing this, Maria is doing this, and so on. If I know the background information, which I could have collected when the thing started, we could have a discussion. I could send you a form and then say about the things which are relevant to you. If no one is interested in law, in among you guys, then I would not speak about law. If you guys are more interested in fashion, I would talk about fashion more, application of AI in fashion and so on. So that would, it would create a good rapport between us, a better rapport, maybe I should say. Yes. So that is what data is. The more information about that. Um, so this is where we are. This is where we are essentially. Okay, facial recognition. One more clip I want to show you.
They're constantly monitored by facial recognition cameras that are able to instantly put a face to a name. Now, the Chinese are also ranked, given a mark out of a possible 950 points. A score in the 700s is considered good. Around the 500 mark is not. For now, the number is a sort of bank credit rating, keeping track of everyone's spending habits.
I think being ranked is a good thing. A society has to have rules.
It forces us to be well behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
But in an effort to keep all of its subjects in line, Beijing is taking the system a step further in 2020. It's aggregating data gathered by banks, private companies, and the state to rate if someone's a good or bad citizen.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb. Their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media. Criticizing the government online or displaying outward signs of wealth is a no-no. On the other hand, praising the party or giving blood increases your social credit. Xiaowen Wang is a model citizen. She lives in Nanjing, a testing ground for social ranking. Married with a child, she has a job in a retirement home, no debts, and she wouldn't dream of jaywalking.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
In theory, everything can be taken into account in the social score, even the most innocuous errands like supermarket shopping. When Xiaowen Wang makes an electronic payment, her purchases tell the state a lot about her. Buying cigarettes would count against her. On the other hand, nappies show she's an attentive mother. Beer could indicate alcoholism. She'd be better off buying water. In this pilot city of 8 million people, there are only 18,000 model citizens. For Xiaowen Wang, there are perks to be had, such as paying half price for the bus.
I get discounts for all public services, even at museums. And the library is free for me, thanks to my score.
A good score brings benefits, but people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
It's a matter of principle. Those people have to be condemned.
Those people aren't honest, so they have to pay the price.
It's only right to pay your debts. You have to blacklist those that don't.
The Supreme Court has created a blacklist for so-called bad citizens, those whose ratings have dropped to zero. On it are companies, but also 23 million people to date. Among them is this journalist Liu Hu. He got a little too close to uncovering corruption among high-profile party members. After being sued for defamation by the subject of a story he'd written, he was blacklisted. The only real...
Yes, so I think we made the point. So in that scenario, it will be hard to compete with a country which have such policies, collecting data in such way. And then there are benefits also, like if you are a good citizen, if you are beneficial to the society, you are buying good things, you are not buying maybe you are not promoting alcoholism, and you are buying water, and you are not promoting smoking, and whatever the society thinks, whatever the government thinks is good for the people and bad for the people, and so on. And then if you are following those things, then the government is rewarding the person. For example, on the bus, she was paying half price, she's getting discounts, museum is free or discount on museum. You can re-listen to really understand what it is. Library is free, things like that. Yeah. So from on the other hand, those people who are not following the instruction or not paying the debt or whatever, the government is posting their pictures and information that these are the people who are not paying the debt or something like that. And now that is a bad thing in that also, like it is their, their dignity is compromised. But then you can argue that they did not pay the debt, and you are saving the society from those people, so the people would be aware that these people are not trustworthy, something like that. But all of this is, of course, controversial. All of this is controversial. And in a democratic government, democracies, they don't do these things. Again, I think I said earlier, but we can make the point again, that because the government needs to win the election, and for election they need the vote of people and that type of thing. So they do things differently. Uh, they have to do things. They have to please the people also in some way. But a country like China, they don't necessarily have to do that. So they can ask them that this is how we are going to do it, and that makes the difference in collecting data. And then so Europe will have to find some middle ground. Europe will have to find some middle ground if they want to compete with China and even with US. Yeah, because again the policies are different, even if you compare US and Europe, in terms of data collection and technology advancement and so on. The policies are different. You will have to read a little bit on that if you are interested. So Europe will have to find a middle ground where without compromising the privacy and whatever. And then what needs to be done? If Europe says that okay, we're not comfortable about sharing data, if that is what it is, then how to compete on what is the alternative, what needs to be done, what other way Europe can take to advance in AI, application of AI, application to make the society better, just like you saw Estonia. Finland is a good example.
Maybe giving funds to people who are trying to develop something in AI. So instead of creating a bad reputation or giving discounts, maybe Europe can give money to people which are doing good and do not punish the other ones.
Okay, maybe yes. So those type of things you would have to maybe think about what is what. And with AI funding, AI related funding, you read a little bit on that also, because Karina is talking about funding. Yeah.
Yes.
Different projects. So read a little bit about that. There are majority of the projects which are so-called artificial intelligence, and they ask for funds. They are not necessarily artificial intelligence, if you think about that. I was reading some reports on that people, just to acquire funding, they put in some type of technology name in it, like artificial intelligence or blockchain or 5G development or something like that. But then it is not necessarily linked with that. It just sounds good, like it just sounds good, like sounds smart. Yeah, but it is not really, like if you tell someone, oh, I did a course in artificial intelligence and this and that, it sounds a little bit, but is it really artificial intelligence or not? What is the definition of artificial intelligence and so on? As you are talking, I think in the first session, said to you that it's defined differently, and that is why there are different links on the website, and you will realize that it is defined differently in many ways. But yes, that is how you would want to think about it. This is a longer clip, like 2 hour. This you need to watch in your own time. And I wanted to speak a little bit about the education, how China is using artificial intelligence in terms of education. And we can reflect. We can together reflect on that.
And going all day long.
And then I did not want to really, have a debate or conversation on these clips which I showed you earlier, like about China collecting data and so on, because I know it that many of you might have reservations about data collection and so on, and you might want to, not all of you, I don't know, but it's a generally speaking, there is a critique against China that it is not right or whatever, they are suppressing their people and so on. Different type of comments. People who are outside of China, they sometimes think like that. But in the first session, I said a couple of things, if you can recall, that we like the things which are similar to us. Like it depends on how we are grown up, what environment we had, and so on. We get used to what we see around us. The religion, if the religions which we see around us growing up, we tend to most of the time take the same type of religion, or if there are atheists around us, then we also, most of the times, not every time, but most of the time. So environment and the way we grow up, so outside environment, we think that something is wrong with that. So I would encourage that when you are trying to think about artificial intelligence, try to get rid of that pattern and try to see what are the benefits of what China is doing, instead of trying to say that they are doing wrong. And if you think they are doing wrong, that is perfectly fine also. But try to see the benefits and focus on the benefits, and then try to see how you can incorporate or bring the benefits in Europe, in your country, and minimize the negative sides. That is, I think, one way to look at it, instead of just, because criticism is not going to take us anywhere far anyways. So this is application in the schools in China, artificial intelligence.
Teachers at this primary school in China know exactly when someone isn't paying attention. These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the teacher's computer and to parents. China has big plans to become a global leader in artificial intelligence. It has enabled a cashless economy where people make purchases with their faces. A giant network of surveillance cameras with facial recognition helps police monitor citizens. Meanwhile, some schools offer glimpses of what the future of high-tech education in the country might look like. Classrooms have robots that analyze students' health and engagement levels. Students wear uniforms with chips that track their locations. There are even surveillance cameras that monitor how often students check their phones or yawn during classes. These gadgets have alarmed Chinese netizens. But schools say it wasn't hard for them getting parental consent to enroll kids into what is one of the world's largest experiments in AI education. A program that's supposed to boost students' grades while also feeding powerful algorithms.
为了就是国家的这个研究呀、发展呀，我觉得是没有问题的。
The government has poured billions of dollars into the project, bringing together tech giants, startups, and schools. We got exclusive access to a primary school a few hours outside of Shanghai to see firsthand how AI tech is being used in the classroom. For this 5th grade class, the day begins with putting on a brain wave sensing gadget. Students then practice meditating.
现在想象我们眉心有一点柔和的光芒绽放。
The device is made in China and has 3 electrodes, 2 behind the ears and 1 on the forehead. These sensors pick up electrical signals sent by neurons in the brain. The neural data is then sent in real time to the teacher's computer. So while students are solving math problems, a teacher can quickly find out who's paying attention and who's not.
说明这段时间他是有点在那走神的。
A report is then generated that shows how well the class was paying attention. It even details each student's concentration level at 10-minute intervals. It's then sent to a chat group for parents.
就是他可以看到每个人的评分。
The reports are detailed, but whether these devices really work and what they exactly measure isn't as clear. We were curious if the headbands could actually measure concentration, so one of our reporters tried on the device.
但我没有感觉自己特别集中。
This is a new technology with still fairly little research behind it.
Theodore Zanto is a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco. He was surprised to learn that this tech, called electroencephalography, also known as EEG, is being used in the classroom on children. It's usually used by doctors in hospitals and labs.
EEG is very susceptible to artifacts. And so if you are itchy or just a little fidgety, or the EEG wasn't set up properly so that the electrodes didn't have a good contact, affects the signal.
Despite the chances for false readings, teachers told us the headbands have forced students to become more disciplined.
上课回答我的问题，就是他们的声音会比平常更响亮。
Teachers say the students now pay better attention during class, and that has made them study harder and achieve higher scores.
上课认真听讲，作业做的基本上是全对的。
But not all students are as enthusiastic.
就是自己感觉是脑筋，我感觉这里有个紧的。
This 5th grader, whom we caught dozing off in class, told us his parents punish him for low attention scores. And that kind of data adds a new kind of pressure for students.
想啊，如果在一次考试全班人都考了95分以上，就你考了一个85，你会不会感觉你有一种
Companies we interviewed said the data can go to government-funded research projects. We spoke to parents who were unclear about where the data ended up, and they didn't seem to care too much. Santos says there's likely no privacy protection at all.
In a classroom, if you're trying to make an assessment of an individual student, you really can't anonymize it.
Experts and citizens alike are sounding alarms about various aspects of the country's huge push into artificial intelligence. These classrooms are laboratories for future generations. And while these new tools may potentially help some 200 million students raise their grades, just how this all works out won't be apparent until they become adult citizens.
Indonesia is.
This is interesting. What is your reaction on this clip? If I were there with you and I would say, okay, let me put these bands on you so I can know if you are attentive and you are not yawning and you are interested and all of that thing. How would you look at it? Is it a nice thing? It's not a nice thing? Is it beneficial, or you think it's too much pressure? And then the reports are going to the parents, how the child behaved in school today. That's very interesting. Any comments, any thoughts, please?
From my point of view,
Please.
go ahead.
Sorry.
I think
That's
it's
okay,
too
go
much
ahead.
pressure on that childish or children in general.
I feel the same. I agree with Karina.
I don't think it's different than the grading systems. I think it's more interesting that you're actually wearing something and you can see colors on it. Maybe it could be a great childhood memory. I mean, if the parents do not punish the children, okay, for malfunction of the handband, then
Yeah.
it's no problem.
That's interesting. That's interesting point. Like, it's this last point which Karina is mentioning, that how parents will use that information. I think that is interesting, because if the child comes home and parents start beating up the child, that, oh, you are not attentive today, and where is your head, and you are yawning, and you are doing this. No, this is, you use that information to make improvement, that, okay, if this was the problem, what can we do? If you are not interested today, what happened? What can we do differently? Anyway, we can help you as parents, or your school can help you. So the report in itself is no problem, but this is good point, how the parents need to be educated if they if they are going to use it. Yes, anyone else? What are your thoughts, comments? You would be fine if I would put those headbands on your heads and take off the reports and see how you are.
It is an interesting idea in my opinion, but I say that may all children have the freedom to choose if you want uh, to have this handband or no, because it's possible to be a little stressed if, because I see in that classroom all students have this handband.
Mm, 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 mm,
But for research, it's a really nice idea.
So maybe some flexibility, who should be using it or not, and uh, those type of things. Yes, interesting. And then they also said that the parents don't necessarily care where that data is going. So the more data they will collect using this technology, the better they can improve on it. And then eventually in couple of years they will have a better mechanism to gauge the brain activity, or interest level, or whatever they want to, whatever is beneficial for the students. uh, they can work on that and see, it can really change how we educate people. I was looking at this story which you are seeing, this AI reads children's emotions as they learn. So what are because emotions are important. How are they feeling? Are they enjoying it when they are learning it? Are they curious when they are learning it, or they are fearful, or they have anxiety? How we take their exams, uh, all these things impact in the learning. Is learning fun? Are they having fun? That is very important point to consider, because many times we think that learning should be serious, and it's a serious activity. But if you think about it, the countries which are doing very well in education, uh, they make, like Finland, for example, their education system is known around the world, not just in Europe, but around the world. People say that there must be some negatives also in that. Nothing is perfect, but it is just that if you are looking at the best education systems growing up around the globe, Finland comes up. So, Maria, want to say something?
Yes, I want to say that maybe, I don't know, in the future when these handbands will be more applied to different type of I don't know schools or kindergarten. Maybe when you apply to a job, you don't really need a CV. They will have your databases with everything that you did in high school or in kindergarten, and if you are good or not, and you don't need human interaction anymore. And I don't think it's a really good idea or not, but it's really interesting to look at that way.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Why, Maria, you think that it is not a good idea? What is your reservation? What is stopping you to think that it is interesting idea? You like it, I know, but you have some reservation. So, what is the reservation?
I don't think that your future should be, I don't know, determined by something you did some years ago, because people change. And we learn every day to be better, and I don't need to show you my results from kindergarten to take a job. But I don't know how they will gonna think how well developed is your brain or something like that.
Yeah,
For
interesting
that job.
point. Yes, interesting point. Very interesting. So the possibilities, a lot of possibilities are there. A lot of possibilities are there. And I want to show you this clip. It is a 1.5 minute clip, and pay attention to this, because we always have, as we have been talking about artificial intelligence for last 4 days now. Today is the fourth day, and then you must be looking at the website also, and then you also have been reading different things over the years, and your own knowledge which you came up with to interact in this group you have. So like many times we think that, oh, this will not happen, that will not happen, it will not happen like this. So I want to show you a clip from 1974 where people are predicting the future. Even the younger children are saying some things about the future and so on, and the scientist is there and he is also saying something. So let's see what people were saying in 1974 and how they were looking at the future and so on, because in one way or another that is what we are also trying to do in our interaction, like prepare for the future by predicting it in some way or another. So it's a short clip, pay attention.
I brought along my son Jonathan, who in the year 2001 will be the same age as I am now. Maybe he will be better adjusted to this kind of world that you're trying to portray.
The big difference when he grows up, in fact, if we wanted to wait for the year 2001, is that he will have in his own house, not a computer as big as this, but at least a console through which he can talk to his friendly local computer and get all the information he needs for his everyday life, like his bank statements, his theater reservations, all the information you need in the course of living in a complex modern society. This will be in a compact form in his own house. He'll have a television screen like these here and a keyboard, and he'll talk to the computer, get information from it, and he'll take it as much for granted as we take the telephone.
I wonder though, what sort of a life would it be like in social terms? I mean, if our whole life is built around the computer, do we become a computer-dependent society and computer-dependent individuals?
In some ways, but they'll also enrich our society because it'll make it possible for us to live really anywhere we like. Any businessman and executive could live almost anywhere on Earth and still do his business through a device like this. And this is a wonderful thing. It means we wanted to be stuck in cities, we better live out in the country or wherever we please, and still carry on complete interaction with human beings as well as with other computers. So living in a...
Yeah, so think about it, 1974, 45, around 45, 46 years ago. This is, and in the background you are seeing big giant computers. And at that time, this guy was saying that in going forward, you will have smaller computers in the house and you will be able to conduct business through that, and you could live anywhere in the world and communicate using that that device and do your business or whatever. And that is what we are doing right now. If you think about, I am in Jamaica, you are in different parts of Europe, some of you are in Romania, some of you are in other parts, maybe. Yes. So we are interacting, you are seeing me, you are listening to me live, we are interacting. So in 1974, this was not possible, but in next 45 years, here we are now, today's world, we are, look at the advancements which we already have. Simple things like mobile phone and so on, other things, smart houses. And I showed you different technologies in the last 4 days, which are already there. All the PowerPoint slides which I showed you, they were already there. Read, creative, design, write, poetry, novel, all of that. And today I showed you a couple of things on, hand movement. By moving your hand, you are controlling the environment around you. You don't have to stand up and go to the switch and turn on the light or turn off the fan or whatever. Just by hand movement, you can do that. And then eye movement, I told you about that. And brain activities, from thinking, you are controlling different devices, and you saw the examples there. So right now, maybe these things are not here, but just like in 1974, this guy said these things, and after 45 years, we are using these things. And COVID-19 has accelerated the usage of technologies, work from home, different practices, all these things. In many countries, like in Jamaica, I can tell you that not so much technology was being used before. For example, in my university, we had this learning platform where we had the option to conduct lessons online, but we never used it because it was never needed. It was, the function was there in the learning system, but then we use it, and then how different businesses changed their processes in Jamaica, for example. Like, first they were not comfortable if you just call them and make the order. They would want to have other details, like, your, or get payment before or then take the order. Now it is different. Many businesses in Jamaica, you just call them and tell them this is the order and we are coming on our way, and they take the order just like that. So the cultural practices changed in many ways. And then will we be able to go back to the time before COVID-19? That is a big question, because now the people have seen this area. You have seen that you don't necessarily have to go all the way from your home to school and attend the lesson and go back and come back and all of that. Save your time. You can do it online also. You just need a good camera, you need good voice. Of course, if you are meeting face to face in person, the interaction is of course different, but then there is advantage and disadvantage of everything. But even the face to face things that you can run, some things are coming in my mind. For example, holograms, meeting, business, and just randomly. So holograms, read a little bit on this. Look at this, for example. Look at this, very good, very good. So look at this, these are recent things. This is the Washington Post. Will holograms be the next innovation in the post-pandemic workplace? So you are not there in the meeting, but your hologram is there. I am not with you in the class in Romania, but my hologram is there. Yeah, you can read a little bit about this. February 9, 2021. Yeah. BBC News. Can holograms and avatars replace Zoom video call? We are like in something like Microsoft Teams. It's just like it's a Zoom call. We are in Zoom type of call right now. So holograms and avatars replace, and those of you who use these type of games, virtual reality, augmented AR, VR games, where you wear something like this and everything, it seems real. It seems that you are really in that environment and so on. So these are the things. COVID-19 has just fastened the pace of these things. It has just fastened the pace of these things which we are talking about. So after COVID-19, post-pandemic, in couple of years or whenever, well, some people say it is never going to go away, but eventually, it might not go away, but we will become more used to it, and we will know how to operate in this environment by getting vaccinated or whatever, using mask or whatever. That will become our lifestyle. So in the post-pandemic world, whatever lessons we have taken from using these technologies, will we be able to go back to that? Will life be just like that it was before COVID-19? Maybe not. Yeah, maybe not, because we are exposed to using these type of. Many businesses have saved their cost now by making people work from home. So now, post-pandemic, they are going to consider that who really needs to come at work. Does this person really needs to come at work, and we need to give them a desk and space and electricity and all these things? Or this person can just stay at home and work from home. Yeah. So this is a change. So you can use the technology, and now I just showed you hologram and avatar. He can be there in person by using hologram, avatar, and then new technologies are going to come. So that is what you should look into. If you are working in a job, keep that job. If you are in school studying for some degree, keep on studying for that. Nothing is wrong in that. But keep in mind these things which I am mentioning and the examples I gave you. For example, yesterday we spoke about Google, and Google said very clearly in their press statement, one of the best companies in the world, they are saying that degree is not a requirement. And the jobs are high paying jobs. You need that, because they know that in a regular bachelor's degree, you spend 3-4 years. At the end of it, what skill set do you have? It doesn't matter which country you are doing it from. You're doing from Germany or France or a developed country. At the end of 3-4 years, what are the real skills which would be really required in the future? You really have those skills. Many times, it's not much. So Google understand that, and even the dynamics of education are changing. New type of concepts are coming, like micro credentials and badges and shorter courses where you learn some skill in 3 months, 4 months, and then you have a job for that. Yeah. So for example, hologram development, avatar development. This is going to happen. We don't know when, but this is more and more people will be using it. Like this is where we are already, like a Zoom type of call where you can see me and whatever. But the next thing can be avatar. So my avatar is in your room wherever you are. So I'm not there, but my hologram is there, and you are interacting with that hologram, and I'm saying the same things, and that is how I am sharing my thoughts. And your hologram is here in Jamaica. And I'm interacting with it. Oh, this is amazing. Yeah. So please reflect on these things, and any comments, anything you want to say before I continue? What are your thoughts today? Yesterday and today, you guys have been a little more silent than the day before. One day you guys were really talking, but something happened in between. I don't know what happened. Any thoughts? Any comments? Please go ahead. Niyat, Maria, Aona, Henriette, Karina, Alexandra?
Yes, I was thinking about I would say the most important, let's say, skill that we should have. And I think so far that communication is the most important. If I could choose to keep one skill from my life, that would be communication. I mean, if I do not know how to do something, maybe I can ask someone how to to do the thing. You know, if I know how to communicate, then everything seems to be solved.
Yeah, interesting point. And how artificial intelligence is improving the communication. That is again very interesting topic to reflect on. For example, translating the languages. There are applications where you say something in your language and it is translated to like I would say it in English, and it would translate for you in German or in Romanian or in French. These tools are there. Reading tools are there, like you can read the German newspaper. So let's say I'm in Germany and the newspaper is in
Spell
Dutch.
proof, let's say, also spell proof, spelling proof.
Spelling
Maybe,
proof.
yes, exactly. Also many channels on communication. Okay, we have Teams, we have Zoom, we have Messenger, WhatsApp, Discord, and many other. Every app has some special features, let's say, okay, which can facilitate this. So also, let me see something else. How AI can? I need to think a little more on
Yes,
this
yes,
topic.
definitely. And thinking reflection is very important, and reflect on these things and see what makes sense to you guys. Good job.